Hello, my dear students of the third prep. Today we are going to explain Unit 16, Animal Stories. And the grammar rule of this unit is the past perfect. Today we are going to talk about Unit 16, Animal Stories. And as we said, the grammar rule of this unit is the past perfect. You should know the use of each tense before you start. When should we use the past perfect? The past perfect is used when we are talking about two events. In the past, we use the past perfect to talk about earlier of the two events. We use the past simple to talk about the later time. The later time. So this is the use of the past perfect when we are talking about two events in the past. I have two actions that happened in the past. We use the past perfect to talk about earlier of the two events. You should determine which of the two events happened first to know the past perfect. Then the second one is going to be in the past simple. The second point, you should know form. What is the form of the past perfect? Had plus past participle. And the negative form of that, hadn't plus past participle. So this is the form of the verb. Had plus past participle, past perfect, and the negative of that hadn't plus past participle. When should I use the past perfect? We should use the past perfect when we talk about two events that happened in the past. One of them happened before the other, completed before the other. Let's have an example. I had finished my homework before I watched TV. I had finished my homework before I watched TV. Had finished happened at first, so this is the first action, and the second one, watched TV. When we talked about the two actions, we found that had finished, completed before watching TV. So this is the past perfect and this is the past simple. And this is the use of the past perfect, an action that happened in the past before another action. Let's have another example. If I say, after I had eaten my lunch, I went out. Also, this is another example to talk about the past perfect after. After I had eaten, this is the first action that happened first, past perfect, then the past simple that happened after that. Let's move to another point. If you have boy plus time in the past, you should put the tense at the past perfect without connectors. For example, I had graduated by 2000. So I have boy plus time in the past. So you should use past perfect. I had graduated by 2000. And it's easy for this sentence to make a question either yes, no question, or WH question. Let's try doing yes, no question. You should start by using had, then a subject, then past participle. Put in mind that you are talking about the past perfect, not any other tenses. Had plus subject plus past participle and complete your sentence. For example, had you, for this sentence, had you graduated by 2000? Yes, I had. No, I hadn't. Had you graduated by 2000? Yes, I had, or no, I hadn't. Okay? Even if you want to talk about WH question, you should follow the steps of forming the question. Question word at first, then had, then subject, then plus past participle, and to complete your sentence. For example, when had you graduated? When had you graduated? I had graduated by 2000. Let's move to another point. Now we knew the past perfect, and we knew that if you have a past perfect, also you should have past simple to join the sentence. So you have connectors to connect the two sentences, because you have a sentence that contains past simple and another sentence that contains past perfect. So you should know how to connect these two sentences. We have two groups of connectors. The first group is after and as soon as. And the second group is before and by the time. I know that some of you will say we have also when and because, as. Yes, I know that these are some connectors, but try to take it step by step. Let's start first by after and as soon as, then we will discuss that later. After and as soon as should be followed by past perfect, then past simple. and because and by the time are the opposite, should be followed by past simple at first, then past perfect, the second sentence. How can I deal with these connectors? And you know the most important question in the exam paper that worries most of you is the rewrite. In this question, he is going to deal out to give you two sentences. For example, first, I watch TV. Then I went to bed. And he asks me to join two these sentences by using either after or before. What should I do first? You should determine the action that happened at first. This is the first action that happened, that completed before this action is happened. You have some steps to follow. You should omit first and then you determine if after. And we know that after is followed by past perfect. This is the past perfect, this that happened at first. Had watched. So after I had watched TV, I went out. After I had watched TV, I went out. Let's remember the rule. After followed by past perfect first, then past simple second. So this is true. Okay? But how can I deal if he told me you should start with before? Before. Let's try. We know before is followed by past simple. I went out. The second one is past perfect. Ready for this? I had watched TV. Before I went out, I had watched TV. Went out, this is the first. And the second, because I am starting with before, not by after. So after, like as soon as. And before, like by the time. If he gives you two sentences, like this, first I watched TV, then I went to bed, okay? So you have to determine which action that happened first, which action that finished before the other action started. The first one is watched, and this finished before going to bed, so watched is put at the past perfect, then went at the past simple. And put in mind also that after means as soon as, or equals as soon as, and before equals by the time. Let's move to another connector. We know when. And I know that most of you says that why didn't we talk about when at first? Because when can be followed by either of the two tenses. You can follow when is followed by past simple, past simple, past simple, past perfect, and sometimes past perfect, past simple. It's very confusing to use when, because when can be followed by any of these, but we are going to deal with two examples or three examples, and you should differentiate between the use of when, the meaning. You should differentiate between the three sentences in meaning. For example, when I reached the station, the train left. put in mind. First one, reached the station, past simple. The second, left. The second example, when I reached the station, the train had left. Also notice the two sentences, reached the station, past simple at first, and had left, the second one. Let's move to another example. When I had reached the station, the train left. The third sentence, had reached after when and left, the second one. All of them are connected by when. Is there a difference in meaning? Yes, there is a big difference in meaning. The first one, past simple, and this expresses two actions that happened at the same time. There is no difference in time between the two actions. This happened, reached, and the train left. That I may catch the train or may not. When I reached the station, the train left. The two actions happened at the same time. So there is no time, or there is no different times for the two actions. So both of them are in the past simple. The second example, when I reached the station, the train had left. Had left is the past perfect. So what happened at first? Had left. The train had left. When I went to the station, I didn't find the train because it had left. That means it was impossible for me to catch the train. It was impossible because I didn't find the train in the station. And another example, when I had reached the station, the first is past perfect, the train left, past simple. That means I had reached the station first. It was easy for me to catch the train because I had reached the station first and I had time before the train left. So using when is confusing, so you should understand it carefully. When the two actions happened at the same time, both of them are past simple. When the two actions, or when another action happened before another action, you should know, because there is a difference in meaning when you use when with all of them. Let's move to other connectors. They are not main connectors, but try to discuss them with each other. The first is because, and you know because equals as, okay? And also we are going to deal with so and that's why. Because and as, because is followed by, because and as are followed by past perfect and preceded by past simple. Another two connectors, so and that's why. And they are the opposite for that. They are followed by past simple and preceded by past perfect. Let's have an example. For example, Ali was tired because he had worked hard. Let's discuss this with each other. We have because. Because is followed by past perfect and preceded by past simple. Ali was tired yesterday because he had worked hard. If he asks me in the rewrite question using, instead of because, use so. How can I deal with this? So you should start with the second sentence, but put in mind you have the pronoun here and the subject here and the pronoun here. You should start with the subject, with the name, not with the pronoun. You should change. Ali had worked hard, so I heard some of you answering before I answer. I hear someone is speaking, and this is correct. Ali had worked hard, so he was tired. Excellent. So, because and as are equal, and so and that's why are equal, but they are different. Because and as followed by past perfect, but preceded by past simple. So and that's why followed by past simple, but preceded by past perfect. We are going to talk about another connector, but this connector is different a bit little. It's called until, which means till. In Arabic, it means حتى أو لغاية. I know this, you know it, but until in Arabic means حتى. So how can we deal with this? It's followed by past perfect and preceded by, please concentrate on this, past simple, but in the negative form. Negative form. شكل النفي. So if I have a sentence and he asked me to use till or until, for example, after I had finished my homework, I went out. And he tells me, please, until or till, both are the same. What should I do? What should I do? I should determine the past perfect, past simple, but you start with the past simple in the negative form. Negative. I didn't, and we are talking about the past simple. Didn't is followed by infinitive. I didn't go out until I had finished my homework. I didn't go out. Why? Because I am connecting this with until. Until is preceded by negative past simple or past simple negative and followed by past perfect. Another notice, and also it's a very, very important notice. Pay attention, please, for this. After and before, most of you forget this, are followed by gerund or verb plus ing, and you complete the second sentence if it's after past simple, if it's before past perfect. When there is no subject, I don't have a subject here, not after I, no, I don't have a subject here. If after and before followed by, or don't be followed by a subject, they are followed by verb plus ing. For example, after finishing my homework, I went out. We said at the beginning of the lesson that after is followed by past perfect. That's true. But why should I put finishing here? Because there is no subject after. And before, if I want to use before in this sentence, before going out, I had finished my homework. Before going out, I had finished my homework. Let's have an example for this. And the most important question that makes some of you feel worried, the rewrite question. Let's have a rewrite question. Rewrite the following sentences using the words in brackets. Number 1. before lunch, Hala had visited her friend. And he wants me to start with after. How can I answer this by using after? Try to concentrate. After instead of before. And also put in mind that after starts with a capital letter, because if after starts with a capital letter, so you should put it at the first of the sentence. Or if he told me after like this, you should put after in the middle of the sentence, not at the beginning. Let's answer this and this. After instead of before, after is followed by past perfect. So after Hala had visited her friend, comma, before lunch. So you should put a sentence in the past simple containing this, or the same meaning that she had lunch. Let's discuss this. After, followed by past perfect, Hala visited her friend. She had lunch. Why should I put had here? Because it's past simple. Had is not followed by past, is not past perfect, because it's not followed by present past participle. It is not followed by past participle, so it's past simple, easy. Some of you can say she ate lunch. It's true also, and this is true. Okay. Another question or another example. Heba was happy she succeeded last week. Heba was happy, full stop, she succeeded last week. Let's discuss and find out. He wants because. Because Heba was happy. This is the first action. And she succeeded last week, the second action. But she succeeded last week. Succeeded should be put at the past perfect, because this happened at first. So Heba was happy because she had succeeded last week. Why I put that, or I did that? Because had succeeded happened before getting happy, and this happened first, so this is the right answer. The last question or the last example, after he had studied his lesson, he went out for a walk. And he asks me to use until. He asks me to use until in this sentence. After followed by past perfect, and the second one is past simple, and he asks me to use until. As we know that until preceded by past simple, but in the negative form. and followed by past perfect. Let's do it. He didn't go out until he had studied. He had studied his lessons. What's this? What we did. Until or till, preceded by past simple negative, didn't go out until I had studied past simple. So dear students, we talked today about the past perfect, and we knew that the past perfect is expresses an action that happened in the past and completed before another action started, and we knew its form had plus past participle, and the negative is hadn't plus past participle, and we knew how to form a yes no question or WH question, and you should remember the connectors after, as soon as, because, and as, and also this is a group, and the other group is before, by the time, when, and so, and that's why. This is another group, and also you should know that before or by, when they are followed by a time, a time in the past, they be followed by past perfect. And also we talked about after and before are followed by gerund or verb plus ing when they are not followed by a subject. So remember this also, and remember till and until are preceded by past simple negative and are followed by past perfect. Thank you for listening, and I want you to study this rule and practice on your student book, and we are going to give you the answers of the workbook on the WhatsApp group. Thank you for listening.